Call to order, determine there's a quorum present. Commissioner Wardlaw, Commissioner Vasquez, Commissioner Nettleton, Commissioner Flores, and myself, we have a quorum. Y'all will please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, and then the Texas Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Flores, if you don't mind, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I pledge allegiance to thee, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Goodness. Skip a line.
Yeah. I don't know which glasses I'm gonna use. Don't think it's bad. Sorry. Approving minutes, we did have some.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Citizens' comments, Ms. Vallejo. Yeah.
Good morning, Judge Owens, Commissioners. In reviewing some of your projects, I'm amazed to see that you all are moving forward with the Target Range project. Although this is a great project and a great opportunity for individual county residents to practice their skills, I still believe the money set aside for the Target Range project could have gone to better use. Many Val Verde County residents do not have any kind of fire substation and no sheriff's substations. I do not really know where you house your fire department, but you should have fire substations in each major area of the county, along Highway 90, 277, and Loop 79, and somewhere in the Cienegas area. The lives of Val Verde County residents are at risk. Family homes and businesses are at risk. You will be expanding the community center and Precinct 4 building. Why not purchase supplies and equipment that will diminish the wait time for county equipment to arrive at a fire or emergency? Judge Owens and Commissioners, Val Verde County residents need more security and safety emergency services. When will you begin to prioritize the immediate needs of Val Verde County residents? If you are just expanding county buildings for the sake of using money available, you need to stop and reconsider the purpose. Please, let us worry about safety and security issues like proper lighting in common areas where most of the populace go, like the mailboxes, the parks, and maybe every street corner, something like cameras or someone like a deputy patrol that will provide at the very least, peace of mind that school-aged children are protected while they are at bus stops, or even protecting residents who walk, run, or bike in the areas. You have two beautiful parks, one out in Lake Ridge area and the one behind Precinct 4 Community Center. But the grass needs watering, the portable potties are too far from the main area, more seating is needed. If people want to go out to make use of either of the parks, their lives are actually in danger. Even if they were to call out for help, no one would probably hear them. There should be something or somewhere where people can go to for safety or to seek help. The issue of I-27 may bring more revenue, more growth, and more expansion of traffic to many areas of the Val Verde County. It also will bring with it a different type of criminal element. As businesses begin to open around Highways 90 and 277 and Loop 79, more crime and more safety issues will arise. Please do not wait until the problem is here. Start planning, start implementing safety and security places for people to go should they need immediate assistance. I-27 was a plan that started in 1968. The project started constructing highways in 1976 from Galvon, New Mexico to Lubbock. In 1998, I-27 was considered a priority corridor from Lubbock to Midland, Odessa, to San Angelo in 2015 to 2019, and now in 2020, it actually continued adding more miles of highway towards the Mexican border. And although it will bypass the city of Del Rio between 5 to 10 miles, down Highway 277 en route to Eagle Pass, and finally to Laredo, Texas, crime will not bypass us. Val Verde County residents will become major targets. Trucking traffic ensures increases to the gross national product by more than 55 million. With much economic growth for our county, but it also ensures different types of criminal growth. Once these criminals find out we are not a secured county, we will have our share of criminal activity. We need to stop and prioritize now, not when TxDOT begins laying the asphalt for I-27 in our county. We have a small window of opportunity to plan and prepare for what is to come. Please start looking for grants that will ensure we have the proper personnel and equipment needed for this new type of growth. We need to begin to think about the security and safety of our county residents. Thank you.
Ken? Sure.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Good morning, sir.
I'm here to discuss about the item number 17 in reference to setting the time and date. A few years ago, y'all had mentioned it anyway about considering the move, the time change. And you had said that you were going to conduct a study at the time. And that never happened to the best of my recollection anyway. It was never published or publicized as far as I know. This was years ago, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, Judge. Anyway, to move forward, I agree with the judge in your last meeting. You said that you preferred the meetings to be on Wednesdays at 6 o'clock or 6:30. One of the other commissioners wanted to split the meeting days, one have it in the morning, and the next meeting would be in the evening. No, let's not go there. Let's keep it at one time. Wednesdays would be good, as you stated, Judge. This way, it wouldn't interfere with the city council meetings, which are on Tuesdays. So people will have the opportunity to attend both meetings and not have to worry about it. Another thing about the meetings I would like to address is I would like for the judge to be able to read the agenda in its entirety without one of the other commissioners saying motion or move. Let's go that route so people watching or listening can actually hear what the whole agenda item is. And speaking of the agenda, I would like for Commissioners Court to consider posting the entire agenda packet on their webpage, just as the city of Del Rio does. This way, people can actually see what is up for discussion, and if they want to attend the meeting, they'll have the opportunity to review what's in the package, and then they can come and discuss it if they so desire. But that's all I have to say. And I'm also in precinct 3, and I'm sure there are other people here in the county representing all the other precincts, but just thought I'd throw that in there also. So, thank you.
I'm sorry. Ms. Herman?
Good morning.
Mr. County Judge. We can only hope, right? Yeah, we can hope.
1 second. Listen, you can't call your dad right now. I have something to say. Okay. Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. I would like to start by saying that I'm here as a constituent of Precinct 4. I am not affiliated with the Board of Organization. I'm here today in support of the court moving these commissioners' court meetings from morning to evening. As a constituent, business owner, and mother to a toddler, being able to attend these meetings in the evening would make them much more accessible for me. I believe a number of other constituents would agree that being able to take time off of work every 2 weeks to attend these meetings is not an option. As elected officials serving these that voted for you and being paid by their taxpayer dollars, I feel strongly that this decision should not be made on the basis of what is easier for you, but what is easier and allows the highest engagement from your constituents. I hope you'll consider that as you make this decision. Thank you.
Thank you. We need to start bringing candy to Commissioner's Court. Is it Mr. Coronel? I couldn't read the last name.
Good morning, Judge Owens and Commissioners. My name is Carlos Coronado, a leader with the Board Organization. I'm here just to ask my commissioner for Precinct 4 to change the meeting times from morning to evenings, both evenings. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Mr. Rodriguez. Second.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sergio Rodriguez. I am the president of Escondido Estates Residents Association and a leader with the board organization. I won't take too much of your time today since I know there's other people that are wanting to speak, but what I want to talk about today is not on the agenda, but just to recap, about 10 weeks ago, we were able to get the county engineer, all public work directors, and the city manager together in one room to discuss a possible solution, what we could do to, in regards to the Escondido water project, to see what was going on, why was it taking too long. So the city manager did ask for I believe it was a weekly update, which as of yesterday, not one single update has been done. We're going in almost 3 months. Residents are asking questions, so I ask you, Commissioner Wardlaw, after executive session, if you can at least update us to see where we're at on the pressure issue, the water pump that was going to be purchased, because as of right now, we haven't gotten one single update. So that was it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ms. Scott, Nancy Scott.
Good morning, Commissioners, County's Judge. My name is Nancy Scott. I live in Precinct 1, and I've reached our, I'm sorry, my glasses.
You have them?
Yes. I have reached out numerous times to Commissioner Wardlaw to try and get a meeting. We have to do this publicly because I can't seem to get a response otherwise. When you ran for county commissioner in 2016, your flyer said one of your priorities was night meetings. It should produce more public participation. Now you seem to be against it, even you have had more public participation in the special meetings held in the evenings. Most citizens work from 9 to 5 and can't take off from work to address any concerns they may have in the agenda. I urge you to follow through with past commitments and make it easier for your constituents to attend this meeting. And I'd just like to say that as elected officials, you should be able to talk to your people that have elected you into these positions. And it's a very bad miscommunication if we can't speak to you. Thank you very much for your
Thank you,
time.
ma'am. I've asked the county attorney if I could address some of these issues right now versus trying to put them on the agenda later on. We can't have a conversation, but there's issues that have been brought up, and if y'all don't mind, I'd like to comment on each one of them and then move on to the next item.
And judges, point of order, just to be clear, this is under judge's comments.
Under judge's comments. Ms. Vallejo. This court, and in the last, I was trying to figure out right now, it's either in the last 5 or 6 years, this court has spent a little over $800,000 on equipment for the fire department, between the new brush truck, a new big brush truck, 2 small brush trucks, and a emergency vehicle for accidents. We have, you mentioned Cinegas, the fire department is actually stationed out behind the community center in Cinegas. There are buildings that were built with grant money by the county. We came in 2011. They were already there. They were already built. I guess y'all had built them in 2008 or 2009. And we used to have fire trucks in there, in each one of the buildings. One in Rough Canyon, one out there in 277. And we were able to man them because we had a lot of volunteer fire department, a lot of individuals that volunteered. That today is really not the case. It seems like when you look out there, it's the same ones that come out over and over again, and we greatly appreciate those that come out. The city, everybody that comes out to help fight the fires, but we are down with volunteers. So those trucks, we thought, were better served bringing them back into town where actually somebody could jump into them and go to work. You mentioned mailboxes. I think all the commissioners have put lights in mailboxes. And then in the last 4 years, I think all the commissioners, but I know for sure 2, have actually thrown concrete in order to move mailboxes off the highway to get them where they were safe for individuals that would not be on 277, 90, 377, that they could actually check their mail off of the road. Parks, and you mentioned, different parks. The commissioners have all tried to do more with what they have when it comes to parks, because it is part of our quality of life. If the grass ain't as green as what some people think it should be, I can tell you that the commissioners are concerned. They're planting trees. I think both of y'all just spent money on trees and palm trees and everything else, trying to make it more presentable. The restrooms, I think all the parks, you have restrooms, and I think all working on restrooms, and you have restrooms already. One of the issues that we do run into with the restrooms, and when I was commissioner, was that I don't know what the hell I'm sorry, there's baby. I don't know what you do with a commode that you steal, but in precinct 2, they literally would steal the commodes that you left them open past 8:30. So, one of the issues that and I can speak, I think, in precinct 2, as a commissioner, we tried to leave it open, and then we actually had people say, well, if you leave it open, we'll lock it up. And then they'd forget, and the one night that they'd forget, they'd steal a commode. Somebody would steal a commode or steal the whole lavatory. I don't know what you do with it, but, they would steal it. So I do think that this court, just like every other court, is working hard to meet the needs of their citizens. The meetings, we tried to post more on the website, and to get to where we could actually post the agenda, and I don't think that we're going to get to the point where you can click on the actual agenda item and it goes to the meeting. If we get to that point, it's because we spent $125,000 for that, okay? So, but to get to where we put all the information, Mr. Henderson, you had brought it up, and I think about having everything on our agendas, having all the information, and so we're going to go ahead. We're working on that. We tried to do it 2 meetings ago, and we couldn't put everything in there in the system that we have, but Ram, our IT guy's working on it. It's a good idea. Yes, we're going to do it. All right. Escondido, the water line, we set aside $30,000. Where you at, Mr. Roach? I can't see. We set aside money for that, and then we'd actually gone through and and had begun the process with the engineer for them to do it. We went back and readjusted some ARPA money, but we made sure that the $30,000 that was set aside for the engineer was left in there and it wasn't touched. That way we wouldn't have to go back and readjust it. So those funds were already set aside. I think it was $29,500 maybe. What there was a PO written for the engineer to design the system. We don't have a design system back, and we're waiting on the engineering firm, TRC to get us that design system. That's what we're waiting on.
Is there anything we can do to help you? That was the last update like 3 months ago as well.
Yeah, and I can tell you that I don't know what you would be able to do. We're talking to the engineer, and he's the one designing it. I can't light a fire under his,
No, we shouldn't have a discussion back.
Okay. Thank you.
No disrespect, Mr. Rodriguez.
Sorry?
I said no disrespect to
Okay.
Mr. Rodriguez.
That'll work. Thank you for correcting me. The agenda, water line. The other deal is in Escondido, and, you know, y'all didn't bring it up, but, one of the things that we had talked about before was, being able to get out of Escondido, or get to one side or the other side. That one piece of property took over a year to purchase. The individual was sick with COVID, then got out, and then it was a legal process. Couldn't figure out who was gonna sign. We actually worked on that, and as you can see, the commissioner's been out there working now, to try to get that done. So, you know, if it was just us and we could wave the magic wand and go get it, it'd be done sooner. It's government, and y'all ain't gonna like this answer, but nothing moves forward for some reason. If we could, you know, this thing on TRC, like you said, we'd already wrote the PO a month ago, 2 months ago, right? But there's nothing we can do about it. We call them, they're working on it. As soon as they get a design, we'll set aside some money because we have committed to making sure that the water lines that are installed today have the right amount of pressure and that the city's going to be happy, with the pressure and so as the constituents. And we need to get that done. Y'all have come and said that, you know, we're doing a study right now, $900,000 or whatever, that there's there to do a study to extend water lines, but we gotta fix what we have. I hope that answers y'all's questions. We're good? Okay. We went through citizens' comments, and I went through my little deal. We have, Judge Stoss and his staff here. If y'all don't mind, let's go to item 14. Discussion possible action to approve a resolution declaring October 25th, 2023, the Justice of the Peace and Constable Association Appreciation Day. Judge Stoss, are you here? Do you want to give us a little bit about what's going to happen or what's going on?
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Good morning, Judge Owens, Commissioners. Let me say that I'm really truly humbled and honored to come before you this morning to give you a little history of South Texas Justice of the Peace and Constables Association. This is the first time in the history of Val Verde County that we've had any representation at this level, and I'm talking at the district level. I've been asking around. My venture started in 2016. Actually, 2015 when I was honored to represent you as Justice of the Peace for Precinct 2. And when I would go to the meetings, I would see people just as you are here today. I would be on this side of the fence, and I would see people such as yourselves that represent, in your case, the county. But I would see the people across the fence that would represent the interest of justices and constables in the state of Texas, and to give us educational updates on a yearly basis as mandated by the state. And I've always wondered, and from when I first saw these people, I've always wanted to say, I want to be part of them. Well, God and behold, in 2016, I was very, very fortunate to become a director of District 6 for that organization. And we've had these meetings, annual meetings, everywhere in the state of Texas, well, I should say San Antonio, because we represent 50 counties within our association, from Del Rio to Bernie and all the way down to Brownsville. And we've always had meetings in San Antonio, Corpus, South Padre Island, Laredo, and it took me a couple of years to get to where I felt comfortable, and actually submitted a bid to bring it to Del Rio, Texas. And in last year, when we had our conference, I submitted a bid, and we got awarded that conference here in Del Rio, Texas. First time ever. I'm very proud of it. We're going to see judges from all over South Texas coming to this meeting. We anticipate anywhere from 100 to 135 attendees. We'll be having this meeting on the week of October the 25th through the 27th. And with that comes recognition for Del Rio, along with a little bit of revenue. So I'm extremely proud of bringing this 30th annual educational conference for Justice of the Peace and Constable Association.
And Judge, thank you so much, though, for putting this together, though, and being part of that group in order to be able to put it together.
Thank you
so much.
Judge, I also like to say that when I was elected as Vice President, I had another vision that I also wanted to bring more representation from the wonderful county of Val Verde. And today, from going to having no representation, in addition to myself now sitting as president of the association, we have Judge Lopez, that's now director of District 6 for the association. And we also have Constable Danny Reyes, which is our chaplain for the association. So we have plenty of representation at the district level.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and read this resolution before we adopt it. Whereas the South Texas Justice of the Peace and Constable Association proudly represents the interest of its members who are on the front lines of the justice system. And whereas the STJPCA membership is comprised of 6 districts that include 50 counties throughout South Texas. And whereas each year the STJPCA holds an annual conference which entails 2 to 3 days of continuing education classes that heavily focus on civil and criminal law, training related to the duties of justice of the peace and constables. And whereas the bidding process to host an annual conference is very competitive and a great opportunity to bring recognition and economic impact to the awarded site. Our very own Val Verde Justice of the Peace, Precinct 2, Antonio Faust III, participated, and through his persistence, promotion, the City of Del Rio and Val Verde County was unanimously awarded to host the South Texas Justice of the Peace and Constables Association 30th Annual Educational Conference on October 25th through the 27th, 2023. Now therefore, be it resolved that Val Verde County Judge and Commissioners Court declare October 25th as Justice of the Peace and Constable Association Appreciation Day. Thank you so much, sir. I'll entertain a motion. Motion, please. I have a motion, Commissioner Wardlaw, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Judge Lopez, I don't see her.
She's not here this morning. I think
Would
she's.
you mind coming up and getting a picture of Danny? And you have your staff here?
Yes, I do.
Your staff, Danny, and yourself with the board, if you don't mind, so we can have a picture. Don't mind? No, come on up, yeah, come on up. I'm gonna act like I'm, you have one that doesn't have holes in it?
Go ahead.
All right, y'all come around, y'all get in the middle, Danny.
We'll put it right here.
Y'all get in the middle.
Yeah, bless you.
We're gonna fit, you have to use a wide angle. You're good. You're good? There's only like 9 of us or 10 of us. We're good?
No, hang on. I'm gonna need, Judge, a little bit. I'm gonna need you guys to step out, like the 3 of you, step forward just a little bit. Judge, I'll see you.
Oh, okay.
And then if you guys can kind of scoot it and just behind you.
Okay.
Behind,
Oh.
right there. Okay, so you hold it. Scoot. Okay, right there. That's great. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
One more, sir. Got it?
Thank you.
Thank you, Daddy.
Thank you, sir.
Good job. Congratulations. Kevin Tony.
Thank you so much.
Your cue, sir. Go ahead. I'm gonna skip around. I'm gonna go to item 32, and what we'll do is we'll go to item 32. There's a lot of people in here on the meeting. If you'll let us get to item 32. There's a presentation from ICE, and then we'll talk about the meeting. We'll scoot everything up a little bit. Item 32, discussion possible action on update on Senegas Road project. You're up.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. For the record, I'm Richard Zamora. This is one of our principals, Jesse Ramos, within the firm. We're with Texas Infrastructure Development Group. We got hired a few months ago to design the reconstruction of Senegas Road. And so we just wanted to give you guys an idea on where we were at. Jesse?
Sure, absolutely. Good morning and thank you for your time. Jesse Ramos, like Richard mentioned. We started the initial stages of design and conceptual drawings of Senegas Road. Senegas Road is going to expand to a 3-lane facility, 2 through lanes with a middle turn lane. The limits of reconstruction are hopefully from Duck Pond Road all the way down to the county line city limits. The main topic of addressing here is a better facility for the infrastructure in the area. But secondly, and most concerning, is the drainage that we need to address. We feel like we're in a good position moving forward to continue with design. And if anybody has any questions, we'd be more than happy to address those.
Not so kind. You're not getting off the You're on your own. I think yesterday, you go ahead, Judge. I was invited yesterday by Commissioner Flores to attend the meeting. There were several options that you're going to present. Correct. As far as flooding issues, doesn't do any good, like Commissioner Flores said, doesn't do any good to fix the road unless you fix the flooding first.
Yes.
Right, so the concern is, I guess, starting at the pins, the property that the county owns right there, the livestock pins, to get that water moving somewhere other than just sitting there.
Exactly.
And then, my comment was it should be pretty simple. You take 2 shots, get the water going that way.
Sure.
But the amount of water that is created, and the chart that you showed us was unbelievable. The amount of water that comes out of the industrial park, the amount of water that what is it, 300?
360 CFS?
Yeah. The total facility incorporates 300 CFS of water.
Square foot per second, is that right?
Cubic
foot
per
second, I'm sorry. 300 cubic foot per second is the amount of water that is generated through there, correct, which is unbelievable. So there are plans right now. Y'all had given us several options, and I think at the end of the day, Commissioner Flores had picked maybe 4 or 5 that y'all are going to come back to us with to give us an idea of cost and which way to run. I guess that's going to be one of the main issues right now is going to be the drainage issue.
The drainage issue.
The road's not that big of a problem. It's trying to figure out the drainage.
Correct. And the cost involved with it also, depending which routes we take.
Yes, sir. But you're paid. Right?
Correct.
One of the other things also is, yesterday in the discussion is that the city's fixing to run a new sewer line, a new trunk line. So y'all were going to look into it. I do know that the trunk line that is there, they're probably going to have to start working on it soon, at least the first phase, to try to get it from the plant to probably the around the airport, because that trunk line is full. So that's gonna be something that we're gonna have to look at.
Yeah.
Did you get that, Ms. Fuentes?
I did.
And I check on my setting, yeah.
And I believe, Carlos, you're gonna work on getting us those plans?
Okay. And I guess get what they're gonna do, what they're fixing to do, and what actually is in place, that way we can plan around it. And then we're gonna work with some of the property owners, down there to figure out if we can end up with some of the property, in order either to bury pipe or an open canal. I think what y'all called it, though. What y'all call it?
Channel.
Open channel, okay. I will tell you that yesterday's meeting was, very informative. And it just seems like there's still a lot of work to be done, especially on the drainage. I mean, y'all did a lot of calculations, but it's like, yeah, the amount of water is unbelievable.
Yes.
Commissioner Flores?
Judge, like I've stated in the past, this is a very important project for the county, especially for the industrial park. This road is, the backbone to the industrial park. And hopefully in the future, the near future, is gonna tie into the second bridge. So it's gonna be a big asset to the county that we fix this road.
Do y'all have any questions for, these individuals? No, good. Commissioner Flores thought it was important that everybody understands where we're at and that we're trying to move forward.
Absolutely. And if anybody has any questions within the commissioners, please feel free to reach out at any time personally.
Y'all have any other questions?
No, sir.
We good? Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
We're gonna go to item 12, presentation, on International Consulting Engineers. Mr. Diaz?
Yes, sir. Sir, I have briefs if anybody wants these.
It'd be nice. Give them to me and I'll hand them out. Here, let me give you one of your.
I got one.
You got one? You sure? Mr. Diaz had asked to be on the last agenda, and I asked him to hold on till this one because we had budget and everything else, and he did, so I appreciate that, and I appreciate you showing up. He's a consultant, for a firm that was hired by the city of Del Rio.
Yes, sir.
And you're up.
All right. Well, Judge Owens, Commissioners, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to present to you the information that I'm about to brief. If there's only two things that that stays in your head with us, is that we are a small business AA engineering firm, and we have two natives from Del Rio, myself and the owner. We're both born and raised in Del Rio, graduated from Del Rio High School in 1995. So we're hoping to bring our expertise in engineering design over to Valverde County, and also present to you what we are currently doing with the city of Del Rio. And it was very opportune that you presented the previous gentleman on the drainage issues, because that's one of the things that we have been tasked to support the city of Del Rio with. And our hope is that we can collaborate with Valverde County on those designs that you will be receiving in the near future by that firm.
And real quick, and I know that you brought a presentation, but I'm real bad about interrupting people, so.
Yes, sir.
When you hit drainage, because that's sort of what we've been looking into, and the Del Edges, the area, the Happy Ohio, Edwards, and then how it's gonna relate also to the 60 acres and 20 acres in one by one, the Larson property, which is above it. And then, the amount of water that comes off of the, I guess, is it north or west side of the hill?
Yes, sir.
Where the school was built and no subdivisions. And, there was a concern by a developer that it was just a massive amount of water. I don't think it's a lot of water, but not as much as what everybody thinks, right? But there is going to have to be built some type of retention system where the old Park Service used to be along, right before you get to Coal Run 3 entrance, and Highway 90 on the southeast side, on the right-hand side of Highway 90 as you're going out. And I think we've talked about that with the city in order to help with some of the water issues from the school, whatever those are, and then also with the amount of water that comes through Quail Run and then goes through Happy, Ohio, the Hedges. Commissioner Vasquez in Precinct 2 There's also he's already, in the process of building a road, that connects Chapman and Lawson, and then there's going to be a concrete riprap, along Lawson built to help alleviate some of the water. But with y'all's study, when y'all get done, I guess the size of the system that is needed, above all that is what y'all are going to be looking at. And that'll help everything going along Fox and everything else, as water goes down through there. And then it'll also help the development of the 60 acres, because we can use, most of that water won't be coming through there. We'll try to hold it. And then on the 60 acres, on 20 acres in Mondragon, they're going to have to have a system developed there by the owners, in order to help with the amount of water that they create. Because they're building buildings in asphalt and concrete. Right. And then I think one of the other issues that we had talked about was in precinct 4, the amount of water that crosses 2nd Street as you're going to the cemetery, and then the houses that were there, the houses that were just built, and the amount of water that the railroad tracks holds back. The drainage system that in precinct 4 that Commissioner Flores had talked about with the consultant who just left, we were going to try to alleviate or to capture a lot of that water, basically starting at the pins, and try to get it to Senegas. But still, you still have the amount of water that is generated in the city, that crosses over 2nd Street right before you get to the cemetery, and then settles right there at the overpass that goes to Acuña, but underneath the overpass that goes to Acuña and the railroad track. And I think, one of the other concerns also was, and this is in precinct 2 again, on Rodriguez and Chapoy, the amount of water that goes down Rodriguez and Chapoy, but it comes from the north side of Highway 90, and maybe to try to look at relieving the water on the north side of Highway 90 to get it, maybe to go back to the creek, to San Felipe Creek. That way we don't have the water coming underneath the railroad tracks, goes through Bean Street, and then starts flooding homes on Chapoy and Rodriguez. I think we'd already talked about that. We had talked to the city about doing an upside down street, which is an inverted street, not an upside down street, but I called it an upside down street. They said inverted, through Rodriguez, and maybe looking at something like that. And I think those were the drainage areas that we were concerned with, and that we have been visiting with the city with. And I know that you had talked about the water lines out at the base and redoing something with the water lines.
Yes, that's been some of our past experience in that. I was hoping to just.
And I'm going to go ahead and be quiet here. And
Yes, sir. Well, again, thank you for the opportunity, gentlemen. And the first page, I believe you see it there on the screens, our introduction. Wanted to go really quickly on what we do, who we are, and then talk about some of the specialized work that we've done in the past, and we'll be able to see some of the work that we've done with Laughlin Air Force Base and as well in other municipalities, and then present to you the 4 programs that we have for the city of Del Rio that we are currently working on. So next slide, please. So like I said, we are an 8A small business firm out of Corpus Christi, and we have about 125 plus employees that are supporting us anywhere from civil engineering to structural engineering to surveying. And then where we have the gaps of lacking, where engineering disciplines such as mechanical and electrical, we have a whole network of subcontract support in those professional engineering firms that can bring in the total full spectrum of design services that we can produce. Our recent municipalities that we've supported and accomplished in the past, being local to the Corpus Christi, Nueces County areas, we've been doing a lot of work down there, supporting them in developing their infrastructure. There's a lot of industry that is coming to that area, to that region. And for those folks who are interested, you guys can do your Google searches and take a look at what's coming there. But our firm is in the foundation building of the civil infrastructure, the roadways, the drainage that is required to make sure that these large-scale facilities have the adequate infrastructure to support that growth out there. And we'd like to be able to provide that similar opportunities out here in Val Verde as you continue to seek growth in this area.
Next slide. Mr. Jesus Jimenez is our founder. Like I said, he and I were born and raised here in Del Rio. He graduated in 1995. He then went on to Texas A&M Kingsville, and he stayed there doing his undergraduate and graduated in civil engineering with an emphasis in structural engineering. So he's licensed out of there, and as you can tell, he has quite an affiliation with the local area there in Corpus Christi and that entire region. Next slide, and this is my picture here, but born and raised also here in San Felipe. I was at the Air Force Academy when I was seeing the 1998 floods. They popped it up on CNN, and I was going, wait, that's my street right there. So as soon as I got out of school, I picked up my phone and called my parents, and they weren't there, so things were happening. So I remember that. I remember the flooding. So I bring that familiarity to our team that's designing all these drainage issues at the forefront. So did my 20 years in the Air Force in the civil engineering side as an Air Force officer, then retired recently, and then decided to join ICE from that aspects as a facilitator, stakeholder, trying to expand on the programs that we offer. And next slide. And so some of the opportunities that we've done in the past, we've supported Laughlin Air Force Base with drainage. So again, 2008, 2012, where you see 6 to 7 inches of water on the tarmac as the planes are sitting there, our firm came in and we supported with the redesign of the drainage systems to ensure that they were sized adequately to move that water away from the installation. And so here's one of our key takeaways. We updated the drainage installs, reducing the likelihood of the Laughlin Air Force to have mission impacts to what they do day in, day out, and that's to train our best fighter pilots in the world. Next slide. We also updated their water distribution systems. And so they had a 1950 system. And so I know I wasn't born in the 1950s. I was born in the 1970s. But these systems were very antiquated. And so we did a complete redesign of their water distribution system. And we even provided some value engineering, to where they were going through a material process of going down a certain way. And we provided them some guidance on materials that would be longer lasting and support their mission better with the pressures that they have out there. The next slide. And staying within Texas, we also do large-scale design, facility design work. This is approximately 50 to 60,000 square foot facility that we went and did a complete renovation design. Again, an outdated facility, so we had to bring in updated systems, mechanical, electrical infrastructure, and update it to the standards that the Department of Defense needs. High-performance sustainability facilities that meet the LEED and energy requirements. So again, we also identified reference points of contact if we need to reach out and have discussions with the Army Corps with Ms. Dickman from that perspective. And the next slide. We also work with the USDA, mainly in the southern part of South Texas. We've been doing a lot of work with them in supporting their missions down in the Edinburgh area, in the more air-based areas down towards the south. And in this one particular project, this one expanded about 50, 60 miles where we were building TikTok radio stations for coordination between the Border Patrol and the USDA. And so this is one of those efforts where it was remote, it was unfamiliar from a design aspects, but we got the job done. And as you can tell, we received exceptional ratings on these efforts as well. And so that's it from a specialized perspective of what we can do. My next discussion was to talk about what we are currently doing for the city of Del Rio. Next slide. So the addendums, we're doing 2 addendums to existing master studies that were done back about 10 to 15 years ago. The first one is the drainage, the watershed study. Humongous study, done very well by, at the time it was CPNY. They've since been absorbed by another company, but they did fantastic work on that. And now we are doing updates to that, an addendum to what is existing, receiving the modeling data, and performing that analysis that was done, because now things have changed. 10, 15 years, things have been built, and with that is the necessary assessments to see how the water's flowing, where is it going to. We all know where it's going to now. Now it's just a matter of validating and moving forward with planning actions, future design, and then construction to fix those areas. So two key parts, and I think we talk about it towards the end, but you'll see what the outcomes are of what we are trying to do. The second one is, again, another master plan. This is to the water study that was done by Tetra Tech back in 2012, I believe. And this is trying to align and identify where the water pressure issues are going on within the city of Del Rio. We know of some that are occurring up north of Bedell. And so we are doing the modeling to make sure that we can identify the correct way forward. Is it a pump? Is it a water tank? We're trying to identify those key things right now as we're going through the analysis and the modeling from that perspective. Number 3 is a wastewater planning action. This has 2 specific scopes. The first one is to eliminate the lift stations that are 5 lift stations that are along the San Felipe Creek. And so from an environmental perspective, we want to remove those because you have sewer lift stations that are right next to a recreational facility, the San Felipe Creek. And so we're moving forward through that process to determine the best avenue of how to mitigate that and still allow those systems to do what they're supposed to do. The second thing is a bypass, the bypass between Silver Lake Water Treatment Plant and the San Felipe Water Treatment Plant. Depending on the systems, including that new sewage line that's being built right now by the city, there's going to be some inflows that are additional to the water treatment plant. So we want both water treatment plants to be able to, if needed, be flexible in receiving some of that capacity and to do the work that they're supposed to do. So this bypass will connect both of them in the future, and that is the intent. So 2 things for that wastewater planning action. And then the fourth one is is tied to Project 1. Once we do this entire drainage study, Project 4 is then to do a formal drainage manual that we can provide, the city of Del Rio can provide to its future developers, so that way they have a guideline, a standard of what to follow, so that way we can not do this again in the future, 10, 20 years from now, and not find ourselves in the same situation.
Again, Mr. Diaz, I mean, we appreciate you taking the time to come down. I will make sure that, not me, but UNISA will make sure that you get all the members of the court's phone numbers, cell phone, emails, and everything. That way, in case you need to reach out to any of us,
yes, sir.
You have our contact information.
Yes, sir.
I can tell you that I guess here over the last couple of months, we've all had meetings with the city and with John on the drainage issues and stuff like that, because something needs to be done quick. I mean, we're moving faster than what we've moved over the last 20, 30 years, but it's still not fast enough.
Yes, sir.
But they did say that they were waiting on the study, and as soon as they got it all put together, then we would move together, especially on projects that are outside of the city limits. So we will get you all our contact information, make sure that you have it. I don't know if you already have, do you have Carlos, does he have yours already? Okay. And we've never had a county engineer, well, I guess we did, but we've never had one like Carlos. So if you need anything, please reach out to him, reach out to the members of the court if you need something. I mean, we're all, like telling John the other day, we're all joined at the hip type deal. So, whatever happens outside the county is going to come into the city. Whatever happens in the city runs back to the county. So it's, we got to work together.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. So any information, and we have more information, but I think that hit upon the major things of what we would like to do. There's more information in the slides for the commissioners to take a look at. But I would like to meet with each of the commissioners from a drainage perspective and have set some time to discuss and to listen in and get more information from that perspective. But the outcome, my last slide, sir, my outcome is I think you can go down a little bit, right there. Second and last slide is is we're trying to do this because, for grants, for opportunities for the city of Del Rio to receive grant opportunities for these drainage, for these water line requirements that obviously come at a hefty price. So from that perspective, for grants, we have to have updated studies. We have an updated master plan already from 2023 that was recently released. And so by having that combination of efforts, it can focus, make a proactive communication approach to the state and all those legal entities where we will be requesting and pursuing grant opportunities and support the city of Del Rio from that aspects. And so from that perspective as well, if there's any grant opportunities that we can tie in from the Val Verde County perspective, we definitely want to listen in, because at the end of the day, like you said, sir, we want a collaborative effort on, for sure, the drainage. And as things expand, as we are moving forward into the future, we want to make sure that we are our studies, our end products, our reports can touch bases for the future 10, 15 years when we're all retired and we have this new body of engineers, county judges and commissioners who can represent, and they can see that we are proactive in thinking about the future.
Mr. Diaz, I have a question. The state, grant money, is it state money or there's federal money available also for this?
There's a combination, sir. So we're going through that efforts. There is a philanthropy organization that we're also trying to work closely with, and we have, my hope is that we can synchronize our efforts, because they have some connections from that perspective, from a philanthropy perspective, and and they have the experience from that to support this endeavor. And I think we can find some ways to get things done.
Get it funded.
Anybody else have anything else?
Mr. Diaz, each commissioner has drainage problems within the city. We're very interested in talking to this.
Yes, sir.
So we do have problems.
Yes, sir.
We recommend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Mr. Elias, I really do thank you. I thank you for waiting a couple of weeks to bring you back and for you taking the time to be here. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Now, if y'all don't mind, I'm going to jump around again. Item 17, discussing possible action on setting dates and times for Commissioners Court. I guess the easiest way to do this would be to make motions. Try to get a second.
Well, Judge, what I want to do is table it and bring it up to executive session, unless there's any, somebody who wants to make a public comment concerning the safety of having those meetings in the afternoon.
The thing is, though, that there's nothing to discuss in executive session that would relate to this item.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
That's correct, Judge.
Judge, could I have a word?
Of course.
I know that it's probably public knowledge that I have a vision problem, so I don't drive. I am legally blind, otherwise I can function. But I cannot drive because I cannot see when cars come up around beside me. So driving is an issue. And I know that our agenda items sometimes go to 50, 60, and so that takes a great deal of time to get all that done. And then going into executive session, that can go even longer. My own personal opinion on this is not to have them at night, or not to have them go so long. It would be a nightmare to me if we were out here till 12 or 1 o'clock like the city does. And I kind of took offense to the comment that was made on the last time about that if y'all only did them this Wednesday but not next Wednesday, and then that y'all would play with which items would be on that Wednesday. I took offense to that comment. I am only an ex officio member of this court. I don't have a say-so, but I would rather that it not be at night. That's my own opinion.
Do you mind me? Can I ask a question?
You're up.
Ms. Chapoy, I didn't realize that there was any issue, and of course that's, some very, I guess what you call private, but if you don't mind, I'd like to ask Mr. David a question. Mr. David, where does that fall in? Would there be any issues as far as the county, having, meetings late at night and,
Or it's becoming a liability, I mean, to a certain
Yeah, because
point.
I didn't know, Mr. Boyd, you had an issue, to that extent. I wasn't aware of that.
I don't know that it would necessarily create a liability or exposure for the county. The county, as a governmental entity, has a lot of immunities, and there are only certain causes of action for which the county is exposed. And no disrespect to Mr. Boyd, of course, but this is kind of a general
Okay.
response.
Just a question since
Yes, sir.
that was brought up, so.
The other thing is, not that I wanted to put this out there, but I live alone, and I have a great big dog. And as it is right now, I have a great deal of work, I'm learning my job. And so I'm always here at 7:45 to start my day. I leave at 12, as long as my driver shows up. And I go to lunch, and then after lunch, I go home, I let my dog out, I give him a break, I come back home. My home away from home is now my courthouse office. And I come back to the courthouse, and I'm here probably about 1:20, 1:30 at the latest. And then I can go home at 4:30 when my team leaves, and I can give my dog a break. On Wednesdays, I go to church. And that would be another issue. I'm sorry, but I go to church on Wednesday night. And so if we would, and I don't stay out any later than 8 o'clock. So, I don't even like to get texts or phone calls after 9 o'clock, because I have to get up pretty early in the morning to let my dog out, give him a break, get him fed, get myself ready to be here by 7:45. It does create a problem for me. That's all I want to say.
And to me, we were elected to do, if we're not capable of doing our jobs, we shouldn't have ran. Okay, and no disrespect to anybody, but we were elected to do a job and to represent our constituents. So I'm gonna make a motion, it'll probably fail, and we'll just keep making motions until something passes. That way I can move on to the next item. Again, we were elected to do a job, and I'm not throwing rocks, but, Jesus Christ, when we were going through fires, everybody answered their phone calls at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning to go to a fire. Everybody answered their phone calls when we were going through COVID. Y'all were up, as members of the court, and y'all were through, and everybody else at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning trying to get stuff set up in order to, we can talk about it, beat this horse. I'm gonna make a motion. If I don't get a second, somebody else will make another motion. And if we'll just keep making motions until something passes. All right? Make a motion to move them to every other Wednesday at 6 o'clock. That's my motion. Do I have a second? I have a motion, and I have a second. We're gonna take a vote.
Okay, my only issue with this is that we're having to move our meeting to comply with the city. But I guess it is what it is. I don't think we should have to move the dates, but that's fine.
And if it fails, then we can make another motion. That work? Have a motion, I have a second. Commissioner Wardlaw, how do you vote?
No.
Commissioner Vasquez, how do you vote?
No.
Commissioner Nettleton? Yes. Commissioner Flores?
No.
Okay, and I vote yes. So motion fails 2-3. Do I have another motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion, Judge, that we keep the meetings in the morning and have them every other Tuesday.
Just the way it is today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have a motion, Commissioner Flores. Do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Wardlaw? Commissioner Wardlaw, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Vasquez?
No.
Commissioner Nettleton?
No.
Commissioner Flores?
Yes.
The judge votes no. That motion fails. Do I have another motion?
Judge, I'd like to make a motion that we, move the meetings, only once a month, for the evening, and have it on a Wednesday. And keep one in the morning, keep one on Wednesday, and, rotate.
On Wednesdays or?
Right, so it wouldn't conflict with the city.
Okay, do you want, we have a meeting, so what we do is move the meetings to Wednesdays, one in the morning?
That's what,
That will rotate. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That makes sense? Is that what you're, that's what you're
That's-
saying? So basically, and then we would pick, our next meeting would be, the 11th of October, and that meeting would be in the morning or in the afternoon, just to be able to get a rotation. How would you want that?
I guess morning.
Okay. So October 11th would be in the morning, and then every other, we just rotate every other meeting every 2 weeks. Does that make sense? I have a motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second Commissioner Nettleton. Commissioner Wardlaw, how do you vote?
No.
Commissioner Vasquez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Nettleton?
Yes.
Commissioner Flores? No. And myself. I vote yes. So, as much as y'all understand that I would love to move them to, in the evening, we could keep going back and forth and backwards and nothing happened. So this is the closest that it looks like we're gonna be able to get it. So the motion passes. Okay? Yes, ma'am. Starting, October 11th. And the one October 11th will be in the morning, and then in 2 weeks I want to be in the afternoon. And we will do a better job posting or making sure that what's on that item, and we'll put it on. All right? Item 7, approving monthly reports from elected officials. Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. 8, approving bills for payment. I have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 9, discussion possible action to approve the auditor's report. I have a motion,
Second.
Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 10, discussion possible action on the following. A, reimbursement to BPU-HB9 grant account for an unallowable expense to the grant for District Attorney GCS Technology Firewall expense in the amount of $3,223.83.
It's just simply a contract issue. This extends 3 years. They're not going to cover it, obviously, so. But the grant account did pay for it, so we need to reimburse the grants account. There is a computer maintenance account that normally handles all the firewalls for all the county. There's still approximately $9,000 left in there. We could take that. Second. But I need to confer with, your IT, just to confirm that, and then if not, we'll take out a contingency. But the first choice will be capital, will be computer maintenance.
That's your motion, Commissioner Nettleton? Yes. Second, Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. B, budget adjustment, Esser and Company for $18,100 to pay, to be paid from available appropriations. Second motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Wardlaw, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 11, do not have one. Item 12, done. Item 13, discussion possible action to approve an account in which to deposit funds on $500 donation for the 2023 Back to School event from Middle Rio Grande Development Council.
What are we gonna do with the money?
I think we need to probably do some type of when we buy stuff and give it out. I mean, I don't think we need to hold on to it, but we need to put it in an account, and then we need to figure out how to hand it out. It's for back to school, so backpacks, whatever. Yeah.
Do we have a Commissioner's Court discretionary fund?
Oh, yeah, the whole budget, really.
All right,
Yeah.
He said the whole budget, but he's playing. You're not paying attention.
No.
I thought Greg was gonna raise his hand.
Anyway, you want.
We buy backpacks or something.
Oh, that's fine.
Right.
We're just trying to figure out where to put the money.
We'll put it into grant receipts or receipt the revenue, and then coming out, that just depends on whatever you guys want.
What do y'all want to do with the money? You want me to go through the
Library
process of going out, looking for backpacks or something, and separate them within the precincts? Yeah.
We could keep it there for a long time, or we don't have to.
Well, the
spend
whole
it.
thing is though that,
Well, Judge,
Right now
I would
it's
think
time.
that the $500 is great, but how about if the county puts another $500 and we buy $1,000 worth of backpacks?
Is the timing
I don't
right
have
now
an
though?
agenda item for that, and let them look it up, but yeah, I think it's a good idea. Let's put this money into grants for streets. I need a motion to do it today. And then what we'll do is we'll have Matt look it up, bring it back, and then we'll figure that. That work?
Yeah. Okay. We'll receipt it in after this week. How about that?
That'll work.
That'll work. All right, thanks.
Have a motion. A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second. Commissioner Flores, all in favor?
Can I say something? I don't understand how that works, but you're talking about backpacks. I know right now with the school, it's really strict with the backpacks, what kind they use.
Clear.
But we do get calls from the school, and I know a lot of the commissioners and the judge have helped. A lot of our schools need, clothes for the children. They need socks, they need shoes.
So let's do this. Why don't you bring us back a list like what you usually do? We already have the 500, and then we can bring it back to the court at the next meeting, and then the court can decide then, because the backpack's just a thrown out type deal.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
And if you'll get with Sylvia, she bought 700 socks the other day.
Yeah, 'cause usually.
For you? No. They were having a drive or something, so she bought 700 brand new pairs of socks. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 14, we've already done that, and thank you so much to Judge Stoss. Item 15, discussion possible action to approve an interlocal agreement between the City of Rio Grande County for mutual family violence protection program. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 16, discussion possible action to approve a resolution on supporting the planning and construction of future Interstate 27 in Texas Spaceport Plan. Motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Second Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 17, we got through that one. Thank y'all. Item 18, discussion possible action on Second Bridge. I think we're scheduled for a meeting tomorrow with the city. And then at that point, we'll bring it back to the court and try to schedule a joint city-county meeting that will we figure out, and everybody can hear the same thing. There was a list of petitions. There was a petition signed by individuals that do not want the bridge on north part of town. If y'all don't mind, I'd like to make it part of the minutes this week, if I can have a motion for that.
Motion to incorporate petition signed opposing the bridge on the north side of town into the minutes.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Second. Second, Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody against? There was over 1,200, my understanding. I did not count.
I asked her to make copies for all the commissioners.
Okay.
Everybody, so everybody has it.
All right, that'll work. Over 1,200.
Judge?
Sir?
That did include a lot of city residents as well as county residents. It's like.
Okay. All right, thank you, sir. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Warden, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 19, discussion possible action on public defender. There's two deals on this one. One of them, the capital cases that has already come up.
Right.
And we need to renew it.
That's correct.
That's one of them.
And we did review that agreement, Judge, and it's approved. We
Okay,
approved
the same thing. Yes, sir. I need a motion on that one.
Motion to approve the capital case contract.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. The other thing on the public defender, we had talked a couple of times to different people about trying to open up another public defender's office. I think the first one that y'all started. Well, the first one that y'all started, when it first got started, under that individual, it worked well.
Pretty good.
I think at the end.
Contracted it kind of went down the drain.
Well, and, you know, we got bills, for time spent looking for rat droppings, I think is one of the deals that we got those for. But either way, I think the public defender's office, when it first got started, was a good thing. It functioned, it worked. The people that were, that needed attorneys, I think they're a little bit happier than they are now, especially when you have in court sometimes when the defendant says, I haven't seen my attorney. So if y'all don't mind, and if y'all are okay with it, David, Attorney's Office and myself will look into another public defender's program and then bring it back to the court if y'all are okay with it. All right? Item 20, discussion possible action on members of the court bidding on county projects, clarification by the county attorney. I asked David to look into this. There's a lot of projects that are being put out there that I think not only would save the county money, but it doesn't make sense that a member of the court can't bid on something that is their livelihood, as long as we do it right. So my question to you is, David, one, can they do it? And if they think they might bid on it, then at what point do they put voting on the item? Yeah, I need clarification.
Yeah, so, this area has kind of evolved over time. In the oath that the members of the court take, both the judge and the commissioners, in the oath, part of the oath basically states that you will not participate in any actions against the county or any contracts with the county. But that has kind of changed over time. And the local government code statutorily now authorizes a member of the court from submitting a bid or participating in a contract with the county, so long as they file the proper affidavit, the conflicts disclosure statement, with the county clerk's office. And at that point, they cannot participate in any of the discussions or participate in the vote for or against the contract. So it's permissible. They're just file affidavit. And I can tell you, if any member of the court is interested in doing that, my office can certainly help you in preparing that statement or that affidavit.
And one of the things that on my part that I wanted this put on there, just so we can begin the conversation and everybody else out there doesn't feel like, we're trying to hide something. I've got two kids that are in the process of forming a company to start bidding on different projects, whether they be county or school or whatever. So, they're my kids. I mean, so at some point, I'm going to have to file an affidavit that,
and
that
that's
they're going to be bidding on.
Whether you have an interest or a stake in the company that's offering the bid, or if you have an immediate family member, basically the same rule applies.
And my daughter's last name, that was Zapata, so it'll be easier than Owens. But either way, if we have any issues or if we believe we might be bidding on something, if y'all don't mind, please get with David, get with John to file the necessary paperwork. Item 21, discussing possible action to rescind order number 23-658 on the agreement. Motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Second. Second.
What was that? Not yet, Judge.
Okay, on the agreement for mutual aid and fire emergency services, this is something we've done with the base, but there was a sentence in there that they wanted to add to the contract, so what we're gonna do is rescind the order and then come back and accept the order.
I'll second it.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 22 is the order brought back with an additional sentence in there about the phone.
Motion.
Discussion possible action to approve the agreement for mutual aid to fire emergency services. And we have a motion to approve.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Vasquez, second Commissioner Nettleton. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 23, presentation by Rod Stevenson, Director of Valverde Self-Help Center, Equity CDC, on status of Valverde Self-Help Center and Valverde ARPA Low Income House Funding. Yes, sir.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Thank
you, sir.
Mr. Rob, I've got a quick question for you.
Absolutely, sir.
I've had, I've had 3 residents of Villarreal subdivision, which I consider to be in Valverde Park Estates, that don't qualify. Are they part of the Colonia or not? Or I know they were turned down by your office.
Yes, sir.
But yet they live in what I consider Villarreal, Ray, Scott Drive. You give us an explanation on that? Or?
Actually, yes, sir. Excellent question.
So many years ago, the Texas Water Development Board, when colonials were being founded, they developed a numbering system, and it's an M number. And we have to live with that to this day, different maps of the colonias. And Valverde Park Estates is technically two colonias. Valverde Park Estates number 1 has an M number, Valverde Park Estates number 2 has a separate M number. But Villarreal is not a part of either one of those, according to the state's maps. However, through ARPA and through other programs, such as the Amy Young Barrier Removal Program, we've been trying to concentrate and help areas such as Villarreal that haven't been able to help themselves.
Okay. And we ran into this a long time ago, ever since I've been here. Were there certain colonias and you just
well, in Villarreal is way.
can't apply for it?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Is there a way that the county could petition the Texas Water Development Board, being those, if they were in existence prior to a certain date, to be entered into that colonial area?
You can, and there is a way. However, colonias have fallen out of vogue, for lack of a better way to try to describe it, among state agencies. There's not a whole lot of push for colonias right now. There used to be entire agencies. There used to be an ombudsman program just for colonias out of the Secretary of State's office, and they would handle that. The Attorney General's office currently handles now the colonia database. There's technically a methodology. To my knowledge, no one has done it in years. We could try. We could try and consolidate. And that will again come up in later discussions when we're looking for a new contract, our next contract, which 5 colonias to include in it. That might be a good idea to consolidate some colonias. But I have one brief point on that real quick, is that currently we have 17 state recognized colonias in Valverde Park, in Valverde County. If we start consolidating, we end up with 12, 8, 9, and then all of a sudden maybe we don't pop up on the state's radar as really needing colonia systems. Just wanted to throw that out there for food for thought.
So you're saying leave them the way they are?
Saying leave them the way they are. And I'll bring in other housing programs for any other kind of housing.
But again, Carl just brought up a good point. I mean, I guess we can look into maybe adding this one.
Absolutely.
See if we can get it classified.
I'll look into it and see what we can do, sir. Yes, sir.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Crowe.
What else you got for us?
All right. So we are in the middle of $2 million contracts at the Self-Help Center. One was a bonus contract that we got for advancing on our previous contracts. We are 5 of 5 housing reconstructions into it, and if you follow to the first set of photos, I have some before and after photos. All the left side is before photos, and the right side is after photos. I just wanted to give court, if you haven't had a chance to see some of the manufactured housing we're doing, just to get some kind of idea of the types of people we're helping, and the kind of disastrous housing they're living in, and what we're able to provide for them. This isn't your granddad's mobile home. It's an Energy Star certified manufactured housing unit. In fact, it's rated to be set in Minnesota. The insulation is so good on it. So we're hoping it can make a big impact. We're somewhat limited due to our budget. The state allows us to spend $100,000 on housing reconstruction, which entails the tear down of a building that's just not worth it to try and repair and replacement with a brand new home. We can't do a whole lot of site-built one-offs for $100,000 according to the state standard, but we can do some manufactured housing. And we've done dozens of them. I just kind of want to give you an idea. And in the photos, you also see some wheelchair ramps, some porches and stuff. We're able to combine and leverage the self-care program with another program, the state Amy Young Barrier Removal Program, and that is for elderly, mobility impaired, and disabled individuals. So we combine those two sources of funding to provide an accessible, brand new living unit for folks. Moving on, the second contract we've got open is a little bit younger. We're only about 30% expended on that one, but we're still ahead of schedule. We've done 3 out of 4 housing reconstructions on that one. And I wanted to show you the singular brand new stick and brick home that we're doing. It's in Cinegas Terrace on 219 Birch. We've got a great contractor doing it. We took a shack.
Jesus Christ. Y'all look at the pictures?
We took a shack, we demolished it, we had to do quite a bit of site work, we had to elevate the foundation to make sure it was drained, so there's quite a bit of grading work involved. And, you know, all of this for $100,000, which is not a whole heck of a lot of money. Again, I'm hoping to leverage it with the Amy Young program, convince the contractor basically in his own pocket to add a second bathroom to it. That would be fully accessible to the family who have a disabled individual. And hopefully the state will finalize my petition and allow me to add the Young money to that as well. So we'll be able to pay the contractor, but so far he's working with me on the pay. And it's going great. Hopefully you can see some of the photos. Please feel free to go by and visit. It's awesome. poured concrete in 110-degree weather, so we had to keep it muddy every day for days. Not a crack on it. I'm just amazed. I'm blown away by the quality that we were able to get out of it.
You're laughing. What did you do? You're laughing. What happened?
I was lying with that. Yeah, the family's pretty overwhelmed. In fact, it's a family we've been trying to help for about 4 or 5 years. And at first, the stage rules where you had to get a half loan. It wasn't that they had bad credit, it was that they had no credit. And it was just a difficult, long, drawn-out process, some banks turning them down, USDA possibly lending them money, but putting in criteria for them that they had a hard time complying with. We finally got them to the point where the state upped the minimum amount for grant, and now we can build a brand new house. So it's square feet. It's a little under 1,000 with the extra work that we did. The state required us to bring in an architect to design some plans, and the original plan was about 920 square foot, 2-bedroom, 1 bath. But we're able to up it to 2-bedroom, 2 bath with the state money.
About 120, 110 square feet.
That's still pretty good.
Yeah. But you also consider the new construction, sometimes there's costs for other infrastructure. In this case, it's already there. We don't have to do a yard line for water, wastewater, it's already there, it flows. We received a waiver to not have to do a driveway. A lot of times that's included in a square foot calculation for the new house. So none of that has to be done. So we're able to get a little bit on the cheap.
Now, the plans are impressive. The pictures are impressive.
And also, as a commitment, Commissioner Nelson, I said in the past, I really wanted to try and push Comstock, and we finally had some headway. I wish I could take complete credit for it, but in all honesty, the only thing I did was hire a good gal who grew up in Comstock.
All it takes.
Exactly. I mean, Comstock was just a tough nut to crack. I mean, I just couldn't get people to trust us. They thought the government would take their house or, whatever, and they just wouldn't fly. There are also technical issues. Most of them needed septic tanks. But now with the expertise of Carl and the ARPA septic program, you can see a list of 7 addresses here that we need septic tank systems for. So hopefully we can get those rolling and follow up then with the housing rehab there in Comstock. It has a good Comstock wave. Previous to that, we only do 1 address in Comstock. And we did have to replace the septic system at quite a great cost.
Y'all have any other questions for Rob?
Yes, sir. These are folks that you've assisted.
Yes, sir. I wanted to include that map. Those are folks that we've assisted over a number of years, but I wanted to show the spread across the county to show that we weren't focusing just on any one area, and also to emphasize that the other programs that we bring in, just to Commissioner Vasquez's point, we'll try to use those other programs to help people in Villarreal, to help people in Chaparral, Mr. Flores, that aren't in Cienega Parish. Tremendous need. If you can see here on the map, we've helped 7 or 8 people in Chaparral, and continue to do so.
Yeah.
They're not technically in Cienega. Some of them think they are, but according to the state's map, they're not.
Y'all any other questions for Rob? Stevenson?
Good work.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Item 24, discussion possible action on approval of reapply to Texas Department of Agriculture for the program of 2024 CDBG Colonia Fund Construction Program for waterline extension on Vega Verde Road, booster pump station for San Felipe Pasture, and the groundwater storage tank for town of Comstock, and all items related thereto. These are the same priorities in 2023 application. Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 25, discussion possible action on approval for request proposals from certified administrators for grant writing, grant administration services for the 2024 Colonia Fund Construction Program. This process required prior to reapplying for Comstock, San Felipe Pastures, Vega Verde Road water improvement projects, and appoint selection committee to review proposals.
Motion to approve, appoint Melissa, Carlos, and who else do you want?
Just 3, so 1, 2, who?
A court member.
Commissioner Vasquez.
Wait, I have a motion. Melissa, Carlos, and Commissioner Vasquez. I have a second. Second. Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 26, discussion possible action on approving extension request of 18 months to the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department for the completion of Target Range project. New proposed end date June.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion. Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 27, discussion possible action on approval of, correspondence from Texas Parks and Wildlife regarding approved quarterly status report, April, May, June 2023 for Target Range. No further action required. This is just for informational purposes, Carl. All right. Anybody have any questions on that? Okay, move on to item 28, discussion possible action on approval to install temporary project signage with required wording by Texas Parks and Wildlife Department for the Target Range project site.
Motion to approve and authorize Melissa to get a call.
Second.
On motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 29, discussion possible action on approval of general wage decision from the U.S. Department of Labor to be used by prime and subcontractors while constructing the Target Trade Building. On motion,
Second.
Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 30, discussion possible action on approving criteria to be used to score rank proposals, bids for the Target Range construction and appoint selection committee. The committee there was already a committee in there, right?
I thought there was.
Yeah. There's okay, come on there. Okay. The committee members right now are myself, Commissioner Nettleton, Carlos, the architect, Carl Lesser, and Gary Humphrey. Is that correct? Do I have a motion on that?
Motion to approve.
Second, Judge.
On motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 31, discussion possible action on approval to request proposals for testing services for the Target Range project and appoint selection committee. We need a committee, Carl, Melissa, Carlos?
Yes.
Okay. Carl, Melissa, and Carlos. On the committee, we have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. We have an item later on, item 44, and then Melissa, this would take care of that, right?
Yes.
Okay, no need for item 44. Item 32 is done. Item 33, discussion possible action on date to inform the public update of the expansion of the community center and precinct 4 building. Commissioner, Flores.
Carlos gonna give us an update.
Okay.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. I just wanted to present you the plans that we were preparing. We had the pre-construction, pre-proposal meeting on September 19, and we received 17 questions, and we're in the process of answering all of them, and we're gonna have answers available today. And we're gonna be receiving proposals on October 12th at 2 p.m. This is for the expansion of the precinct 4 yard. The proposal is to lift by 3 feet the existing cover area with a pitch of 1 to 12, and then build another one to the front and another one to the back. And Commissioner Flores already have pretty much all the materials ready. For the new columns, we're gonna propose to have piers on concrete for 27 of them. That's for the new addition. And as I mentioned, we're going to be receiving proposal on October 12th.
Thank you, Carlos. Do you have anything on the expansion for the?
Okay, on that one, I have the plans. The only thing that I'm missing is the structural plans, and I need to uncover the 16 structure just to make sure that we're going to tie into that one.
Okay.
I'm planning on doing that.
All right. Well, thank you, Carlos. Thank you for the information.
Commissioner Flores, you need any action on that one, or was it just for?
No, it's just information.
Okay. All right, moving on. Item 34, discussion possible action to approve the payment of invoice number 2 in the amount of $64,675.98 to Richard Zamora for engineering services.
Motion to approve. Second.
A motion, Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 35, discussion possible action authorizing county judge to sign defense economic adjustment assistance grant application and resolution for construction. A motion, Commissioner Nettleton.
Second, Judge.
Second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 36, discussion possible action to authorize county judge to sign defense economic adjustment assistance grant application. A motion, Commissioner Nettleton.
Second, Judge.
Second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 37. Item 37, discussion possible action, Defense Community Infrastructure Pilot Program. Carlos?
Yes, so this opening window on the grant is gonna be open for March next year. We have eligible infrastructure projects on these ones. For those, they're asking to have shovel-ready projects, and then the match on this one's is 30%. Eligible projects, it's transportation, school, hospital, police, fire, wastewater, water, drainage.
And the 30% could be?
In kind.
So what do you need from us?
I mean, maybe having a meeting with some of you to have a list of projects and then start doing the design of preliminary schematics or something like that.
Okay, so each one of y'all, will y'all meet with him to figure out which one y'all want? That work? Okay, no action needed. If y'all will just go ahead and visit with Carlos. Item 38, discussion possible action on revision of replat of lot 20, Artesian Acres, creating lot 20E-1, 1.094 acres, lot 20E-2, 1.97 acre, previously recorded in page slide 54 of Already County Map of Records. Amistad Land Use meeting scheduled for October 2nd.
Second.
Motion Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. So we're approving the plat before?
This one is just the permission to put it on the county website.
Thank you. Item 39, don't leave. Discussion possible action on revision of replat of lots 44, 44A, 45 of Rancho Del Rio subdivision, establish lots 44B, 44B, 44D, 45A, previously recorded under volume 4, page 134 of Already County Map of Records.
This proposal was prepared, Koch and consistent replatting lots 44, 44A, and 45 of the Rancho Del Rio subdivision into lots 44B, 44C, 44D, and 45A. The minimum size lot is 5 acres. There are 2 of them, there are 5. And the max size is 15.02 acres. This is located within the city of Del Rio ETJ and outside of the Joint Info Zoning Board. There are 2 on-site sewage facility already serving 2 of the houses that are built there. There's 2 water wells and there's 2 water connections from water lines. At this moment, I'm just requesting permission to put it on the county website and send out notices to the neighbors. And it's going to be dropped back to for final approval to Commissioner's Court. This is located in Precinct 1.
We don't need a motion on that, right?
We need a motion to put it on the website and start the process of replat.
Second. A motion Commissioner Wardlaw, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Discussion possible action authorizing county judge to sign grant closeout reports for TNPC and DAG grant.
Second.
A motion Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. And real quick, one of the grants that we applied for, we received enough money through the grant to be able to do for the plans, but there was not enough funds in order to build the sunshades.
Yes.
So we're going to reapply for sunshades and then write a letter back to the state that we're going to not continue to apply for this one, send back the money, and then reapply the next go. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 41, discussion possible action to authorize county judge sign closeout. TNPC, DAG grant number 2020. And this one here actually is complete.
Yes.
Right. A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second.
Second, Judge.
Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 42, discussion possible action to appoint a committee to evaluate the submissions of requests for proposal 23-15 for the construction of maintenance shop bays. Gus, Melissa, Carlos, it's because it's in precinct 4. Do I have a motion?
Yeah,
Are you okay with it?
Yeah, I'll be fine with that. It's a motion.
I have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 4-0. Item 43, discussion possible action to authorize county judge to sign an agreement for electrical service for street lighting in Comstock.
Motion.
I have a motion, Commissioner Wardlaw, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against?
I've got a question on that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this contract, so it's just gonna be normal contract
Same
as
thing.
the lights that we have over here?
Yes, sir.
The Valerie or Cienega, something like that. All
Yes,
right.
sir. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 4-0. Item 44, that was done with the previous items, so there's no action needed on 44. Item 45, discussion possible action for approval to declare the following items surplus. Disposition may include but not limited to auction, transferred, recycled, or destroyed.
Motion approved.
Have a motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second. Second.
Second.
Commissioner Wardlaw, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 46, discussion possible action to approve the lease agreement between Valverde County and St. Jude Walkathon on behalf of Sacred Heart School. A motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
A motion to approve, Commissioner Flores, at no cost. We've never done a cost.
No cost, yes, no cost.
Have a second, Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? You vote on that one?
No.
Okay. Motion is 4-0. Motion passes 4-0. Item 47, discussion possible action on amendment to Border Pit Battle 3 lease on behalf of Jay Gonzalez.
Motion.
I have a motion from Commissioner Wardlaw, second Commissioner Nettleton. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 48, presenting the election judges and clerks. Ms. Chacoy. Is there any action needed on that one?
I think I only had to present.
Just to present them, right? Okay. Have y'all should have a list.
But shouldn't we approve them? I mean,
Motion to approve the.
Yeah.
To present
And
election
approval.
of
second on that.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye, just in case. Motion carries 5-0. Item 49, discussion possible action on supplies purchased from Election Services Contract Fund for early voting on Election Day 2023, October 23rd, November 3rd, and November 7th.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton.
Second, Judge.
Second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. This one here,
Motion to table to left for executive.
okay.
Second.
I have a motion on item 50, the table by Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries. It will be tabled. Write this down so I don't forget them. Item 51, discussion possible on requesting authorization to accept the amended 2024 sheriff's and constable fees. Second. A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor?
Point of order, Judge, because this is an amended, I believe at the last meeting, they had approved the prior one, so it probably needs to rescind that
Do we have a
fee
court
schedule.
order? We have a court order number for the last one.
I don't know if.
But it's not on the agenda. Do I have to have a court?
Well, because here, I think this is broad enough, Judge, when you're talking about the fee schedule.
So, before we take a vote, Commissioner Nettleton, you were saying your motion right now? Commissioner Vasquez. Yeah.
All right, I will make a motion to rescind order number 23-820 and approve, the new order for the constable's fees, the amended sheriff's and constable fees.
Second, accept, Judge.
That works? That works. Okay. A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 52, discussion possible action on approval of workers' compensation program renewal questionnaire and authorized county judge.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? If this one here, if item 53, if we can table it, bring it back next year in next year's budget. That will be fine with it.
Motion to table until the next meeting.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 54, closed session consultation pursuant to Texas Government Code A 551.071, parentheses 2, attorney-client privilege, B 551.071, parentheses 1, parentheses A, contemplated litigation, C 551.072, regarding the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property and possible action in open session thereafter, D 551.073, regarding negotiated contract, lease, or value of real property and possible action in open session thereafter, E 551.076, regarding security devices, security audit, and/or security personnel. We'll take a 5-minute break, come back in for executive session. If y'all will please give us the room. Let's see if you'll stay. All right, got it, thanks. Discussion, we're gonna, court's back in session, 11:34, 11:35. No action was taken in executive session. Item 50, discussion possible action renewal of tax collection agreement between the city of Del Rio and Valverde County to begin October 1st, 2023 and ending September 30th, 2026.
I'll make a motion to terminate the contract with the city and authorize the county attorney and the county judge to negotiate a new contract, and to authorize the tax assessor to send out all statements except the city's until that contract is negotiated.
Second. A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores.
And, wait a minute, let me add to that. And that any expense for additional cost in that contract be bore by the city.
Second, accept. Matt's got a look on his face. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. And Matt, as much as you'd like to go fix it, Matt, please don't. All right, I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against?
Because this topic is on their agenda tonight, are you gonna notify them today?
I will call them just as soon as I leave here. All right? Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. I think there was only one item, that item 50 that was tabled that we needed to come back to.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Thank you, Madam. Commissioners' comments? None. County judges' comments? None. Item 57, we are adjourned. Y'all have a great day.